Welcome to the channel, Gaming Army. This drop finds us in our Marauder. It's the Marauder 9M. I have it outfitted with 4 ER large lasers, 2 in each arm. I also have 2 SRM-6s as backup weapons in case I get pushed or need a little extra burst damage close in. And I'm also running ECM so that I can better hide myself from prying enemy eyes. We are playing Assault Mode on Caustic Valley, and there's a couple of really interesting points that have come out of this particular drop. The first one being both teams have elected for a counter NASCAR push.
Target acquired.
That means my team is in the 5-6 line predominantly, while the enemy is in the 3-4 line predominantly.
Acquired.
The other interesting fact is that we are on Caustic Valley, and as you can see by the smoke and sulfur plumes, visibility is going to play a part in any fight that happens on this map. The other important thing is the temperature. The ambient temperature on Caustic Valley is a nice toasty 152.6 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 67 degrees Celsius for the rest of you out there. So heat is definitely going to play a role in any battle on this map, which brings us to our question. How do you handle the heat? Do you run with override, or do you run without override engaged? Please let me know in the comments below. Every time I ask this question, I get very passionate responses from both sides of the aisle. I get it. If you're not running with override on, you risk shutting down in front of an enemy and taking unnecessary damage, possibly even a headshot. And also, you might miss the opportunity to get in that last bit of damage for a kill shot on an enemy because you either are running hot or have shut down. So I understand that. I personally don't run with override because I've had negative experiences. And my negative experience is I typically cook off a good portion of my mech running with override because I continue to get trigger happy until it's too late, or I'm in a damaged mech fighting for my life at the end of a match, and yeah, it just doesn't work out. So here comes our test case. I'm currently getting pushed by an Atlas, and if we look at the enemy Atlas up in the top right, you'll see his mech is fairly fresh. He has some basic armor damage, and that is it. I am in trouble pushing an assault mech like this. I'm trying to focus the right torso. I want to take out his AC-10 and one of his pulse lasers. That'll limit his firepower, but I shut down instead. Now, it's a quick shutdown because I have this maxed out so I can start right back up again. But look what's happening to the Atlas. He is running with override, and he has managed to cook off his ammo and kill his mech. I don't even get to score the kill shot. So he cooked himself off, and as you recall, those were just a few seconds of us brawling. He went from being almost a fresh mech to dead. And that's why I don't run with override, because that typically is my experience running override. Yeah, I know. Don't be so trigger happy. You can control it, this, that, and the other. I get it. Now I've managed to push in. I want to do some damage on this Marauder and anybody else I can, because this match is going to be over quickly. It's 3-11. But before I go down, I do manage to rack up a respectable 658 damage. Jumping over to our next drop finds us on Tourmaline Desert Plain Incursion Mode.
Close contact.
Here we go again. Tourmaline Desert.
Echo 5 low ground.
The ambient temperature on this map is 167 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 75 degrees Celsius for the rest of you out there. So again, another very hot map. It's not the hottest. Yes, I'm looking at you, Terra Therma. But any of you guys who have dropped on these hotter maps, especially if you're playing Laser Vomit, know exactly what I mean about the maps and the ambient heat being a huge factor in the coming battles, because you're racking up heat faster and you can't dissipate it as quickly, and it does play into the battle, no matter if you're running override or not running override. But I don't know. That's another interesting question. If you're running override on a hot map, do you find that you're cooking yourself off even faster? Second interesting question.
Looks like they're coming Fox 5 to
please
Fox
leave the
6.
comments below. Let me know your thoughts on
Murmurs are in the
override
back, Fox 5.
versus not override. And hopefully we can get some great comments out there, and it will help out some of the other pilots in making their decision on what they would like to do and how they would like to play the game. So going forward with this one, I've managed to spot the enemy pushing Fox 5 towards Fox 6, and more importantly is I saw they have a missile boat somewhere in their backfield, and you know me, I loathe leaving a missile boat in an enemy backfield unmolested. So I'm going to circle around and see if I can get an angle. I also picked up the fact that there's an enemy unit still in their base. He might be disconnected or AFK, and we'll worry about him a little later. Right now, I want to see if I can figure out how to get an angle on the enemy. I'm a little hesitant to push over top here for fear that they're going to turn around and the entire enemy units are going to see me all at once and I'll get focus fired, but they don't. And there is a Mad Dog, and that is the missile unit that I saw from before. Now, silly me, not paying attention to my mech. Marauder has these lasers in the arms, which are low slung below the cockpit level, and because I wasn't paying attention to that, that means my left arm there shot into the ground instead of into the enemy unit. But that's okay. We've worked him down. We have his CT open. I'm also bringing my SRM-6s to bear, and as I shut down, I get the kill shot on the enemy Marauder. So you see the startup was very, very quickly there. I did spend the experience points to unlock that, to make sure that I limited the amount of time that I'm shut down. And now I'm just looking to see if there's a way I can get some free shots on enemies that aren't paying attention to me, like that assault mech down there, the Dire Wolf. We got a dual barrage of VR lasers into him. He was spinning around looking to see where he's getting shot from. And there's more units down there. This is not the best position for me, just because of the shape of the terrain. And I want to be able to bring my lasers to bear. The Roughneck's going to help me with that. He's going to push up and give me his back, and we're able to take him out as well.
You're welcome, sir.
So I'm going to swing around and see what else we can get into. And rounding the corner, there's the Dire Wolf from earlier. We're able to get a full set of weapon strikes out on him. Now here's the power of ECM. He knows that I'm there. He had to have seen me, and I shot him. But he focuses my teammate instead and allows me to move in for the kill. Interesting fact on the ECM, sometimes it makes you totally invisible to the enemy. I think it's because they can't lock you to see where you're damaged, so they typically go for something else. Or it could be the fact that my teammate was a lighter ton mech. He thought it would be an easier kill. But either way, we're down to harassing these couple of light mechs the enemy has on the far side of the board, and this is where the strength of the ER large lasers plays into it, that I can stay up on the ridgeline and still...
Last one, I believe, is AFK or disconnect inside their base as a bushwhacker.
Put in quite a bit of damage, because the ER lasers are capable of delivering quite a bit of damage at that distance. So any of you who've played Incursion, you know what comes next. We do have to make it into the enemy base and damage something inside the enemy base to end the match. So that's where we're heading. I'm going to shoot the wall here because I don't like going through the main gate. There's barricades to navigate. I could care less about those. And I also know there's going to be a turret covering that main gate as well. So if I can come at it from a slightly different angle, so much the better. It also gives another opening for my teammates to pass through instead of a choke point. So I'm just going to take down this wall, and oh my goodness, there is the bushwhacker. I thought he was disconnected. He must have just been AFK. Either way, he's come back to the game, and unfortunately, as he pushes out, he's right into our assault mech, which is not going to be a good day for him, and I'm just going to deliver a little extra damage to his side torsos. So we end the match with 3 kills, 627 damage done, 5 components destroyed.